Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Uncorked with Funny Wine Girl. This is Funny Wine Girl, aka Janine Luby. And it's 2022. At least it is when you're listening to this. I'm recording it in 2021, but let's imagine it's 2022 and you're listening and you're in it. You're in 2022. And I am excited and hopeful if you listen to my last end of the year podcast. I'm really hopeful about 2022. Personally, professionally, I've had some things happen that I'm excited about. And I should say, we're going to talk about tonight some kind of like forming healthy habits, some tips on how you can do that and live healthy. But what I also want to mention is that I don't love people feeling pressure, right? So it's January, the new year, everyone's going to be talking about their New Year's resolutions, and some people are going to do dry January, and my dry January is more like, should I have Merlot or Shiraz? So I'm a different kind of dry, but I don't want anyone to feel pressure because you can always make changes and do healthy things in your life throughout the whole year. But it is that time of year when it's just natural. We'll hear people talking about it. We'll see posts, and we're going to start thinking about things we can do to live a little bit healthier and some steps that we can take. So my guest for this evening is Christine Souza, who is a health coach, and she also is into essential oils. So she's going to share her knowledge with us, and we're going to have a little banter tonight. So I want to welcome Christine.
Hello. I'm super, super excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you for coming on. It's so funny because before I hit record, we were talking about Christine and I do not know each other in person, so to speak, the quote unquote real world. We met through Instagram, but here's a case where a lot of people will bash social media, and I do it myself because there are a lot of unhealthy aspects, but there are healthy aspects. Like here, I wasn't sure how I knew you, and you said that you were looking for running posts, and you saw my running post, and now we know Christine has been supportive. She has done laughter yoga with me. You've ordered wine for me, and we kind of like will comment on each other's posts, and so here we are, this connection, and we didn't know each other before. But I'm here in Scranton. You're there in Albany, New York. But why don't you tell the listeners a little bit more about a connection that you have to the Electric City here?
So yeah, it's super funny. I lived in Scranton for a year. I went to Marywood. I actually went to Marywood College. When I was there, it turned into university like in the January of that year. But my freshman year, I spent in Scranton, Pennsylvania at Marywood. I was a math major, and I worked in the nutrition department as my work study program. So I know Scranton. I love Scranton. I've been to Cooper's. Parents weekend, you go to Cooper's. I have spent many a weekend walking from the school to the Steamtown Mall, because there's not a ton to do when you're underage in Scranton and don't have a car. And I've seen many a concert at the U, and I've been to Scranton. I love it. I love The Office. I think the Office really kind of put Scranton on the map there. But it's a good place, It's good. Cold.
Yeah.
Like Albany, it's cold.
I was going to say like Albany. And you answered what my second question was going to be, which is, are you a fan of The Office by any chance?
Yeah, I actually just this weekend I started like streaming it again. Just, I just moved to this big house in Albany, and I'm not quite used to it yet. It's, a little empty and kind of like makes some strange noises. I like the background noise. So I had Michael Scott streaming, all weekend while I was, unpacking boxes and organizing closets and all that good stuff. So, the Electric City, man, gotta love it.
I can totally relate to the streaming. I mean, you think, oh, geez, Janine, you live there. Don't you get enough? But it's very cool. Like, I did actually like the show when it was on. It wasn't just because, oh my gosh, they just mentioned Cooper's, but it was actually funny. So thankfully I did actually like the show, and I loved, Steve Carell. Oh my God. Like, honestly, the way he played that was so brilliant, because you play a person who, like, there are times you don't hate him for as horrible as he's being. You're like, you actually feel for him. So, and I want this podcast is not about that, but yeah, it's so I understand too with the whole idea of like some keeping some like kind of having company in the house. Like I will do that with my TV and I will watch some of the shows over and over again. I'm doing that with Seinfeld right now because it's on Netflix and I'm a 100% huge fan of Seinfeld.
I've been bouncing between the two because,
Yeah.
why not?
And why not? Because they're comedies, right? So they make us laugh, which is good for us. Let me ask you before we get into like the health stuff. So you were a math major. So for my first thought is, what the hell? Because I'm not into math. So did you work in that field first? Like obviously, maybe I shouldn't say obviously, maybe you didn't. I don't know.
So I have a full-time job. I am a manager of sales compensation for a technology company, and I pay the commissions. So, and that's actually kind of how I got into essential oils. I I've worked in compensation for, oh gosh, about like 10, 12 years now. And it's very stressful when you're talking about other people's money, when you're talking about, the way people get paid. It's, when you mess with people's money, man, like they are vicious. And, sometimes things happen that are out of, my control, out of the employee's control. And it's a lot of stress. And when people aren't happy, they think, oh, let's just change the way we pay them. And that's not always the way to go about things. My health always took a back seat because I was constantly working. Like I said, I just moved to Albany, but I actually worked in Manhattan. I worked in the Empire. My job currently, where I work now, we're located in the Empire State Building.
Oh,
so I
wow.
would commute to the Empire State Building from my home in Westchester County at the time. And door to door, it was like an hour and a half. So 3 hours of my day is spent just getting to my job and, then being there. And, it's a lot of stress. People coming to your desk and being like, why are you paying me this way? It's like, I literally just do the math. Like I don't make the rules, I do the math. So constantly trying to figure out how to eat healthy, how to get exercise in, how to maintain a social life, how to maintain my mental health. It starts to take a toll on you. And I actually, back in the day, worked for MySpace, and I was running myself into the ground trying to keep up with all of that. And when the company was sold, I was released from my job, which was actually a blessing because it gave me time to step back and say, what do I want? What do I need to do for myself and my health? And, I gained a lot of weight. I wasn't feeling good. I started running. I lost a lot of weight. I kind of got back on track of like feeling good and how to like maintain that. And I actually did a health coaching certification. I'm a certified health coach from the Institute of Integrated Nutrition. And I found a love for running. I found a love for health. And I wanted to make that my full-time job, but unfortunately that just wasn't going to pay the bills. So I went back to corporate America, but I kept this on the side. And I always, would share it with my friends. I coached a lot of my friends. I had friends who lost like 40 pounds from listening to like things that I was like encouraging them to do. But again, the job just starts to take over. So that's when I found essential oils. I was super stressed out. I ran into a friend. She's like, listen, you got to try this. And I'm like, dude, I used to work in the vitamin shop back in the day when I was in college. Like, I know about oils. I know about vitamins. I know about all these things. And she's like, no. She's like, I know you do. She's like, but you have to try this. We work with a company called Doterra. Doterra is like the premier in essential oils. The reason being is because they work on a co-impact sourcing model. They go to the places that the plants are going to prosper the best. So for example, do you want to eat an orange that's grown here in Albany? Or do you want to eat an orange that's grown somewhere where it's supposed to be grown, like Italy or Brazil, or somewhere where it's warm and like you're going to get that potent juice from the orange? This is what doTERRA does. They go to the places where whatever it is, whether it's a fruit, whether it's a plant, whether it's a flower, where it prospers the best to get the best quality. They go through rigorous testing. I want to say it's 28 different tests. I might be wrong on that number, but 28 different tests that they go through from the time the plant is distilled, so that's how you get the oil out of the plant. From the time the plant's distilled, it's tested along the route. So from the distillery, is this quality? When it leaves the distillery and goes to, is this quality? When it gets to doTERRA corporate, is this quality? And if it doesn't meet the right standards, that bottle does not go out to customers. And every bottle has a little, and all the people on the Zoom,
People
on the, yeah,
on YouTube
watching,
can check it out. Yeah.
There's a little code on every bottle, and you can actually check the code on that bottle and see how that bottle performed.
Oh, wow. That's pretty neat to look at that. That's a cool thing. Yeah.
It's really cool. And the thing that's so important about this is that this testing that's done, it has to meet a certain standard of quality, right? doTERRA's actually gone through the process to have their lavender it's a qualification process to have the lavender actually now, it's only lavender right now, but we have other oils going through the same process, is actually now a pharmaceutical grade essential oil.
Oh, wow. And that's, that's my favorite lavender. Oh my gosh. I want a mask that's like, with the lavender just being pumped in throughout the day.
I do that with my oils. I put a little, roll or a drop or something on my mask, and then I put on, and it helps, like when we first started wearing masks, really helped me to stay calm and not feel like, panicky, like leaving the house. And, with everything going, like when we first started, we didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
And
that's
now
a great idea.
But
that's a great idea with the mask. And let me, if you don't mind me sharing here, just, I probably had read it. I don't know that I had thought of it, but I was teaching for about 7 years. I taught part-time in a college at King's College, which is down in Wilkes-Barre. It's about a 30-minute ride.
Oh, I know it.
You know it. And 81, I mean, it's not the 30 minutes, it's the 81, Interstate 81 with the trucks. And it's just like, I'm white knuckling it. I don't love to drive anymore. And it's something that worked for me. And I actually shared it with my speech students when we talked about ways to deal with anxiety. I would put lavender on a cotton ball and I would have it in the car. So, I mean, it actually was strong enough that it was in the car, but I would sniff the cotton ball. And honest to God, I'm not to tell you, it wasn't doTERRA. I'll be honest. It was, could have been another brand, but it was enough to make me feel calmer. So I would tell them, we talk about all the different techniques that are in the textbook about how to be calm. And I said, try that, if you have essential oils, putting the lavender on a cotton ball and just taking a sniff of that before you get up to give your speech so that you can calm down. But I love the idea of putting a drop on the mask too. I think that's great.
For sure. And that's literally how the essential oils work. Like you just open a bottle and take a sniff, right? Like I did, boom, done. What happens is the aroma goes up into your nose, and right here at the bridge of your nose, this is where your olfactory nerve is. Your olfactory nerve talks to your limbic system, and the compounds of the oil will tell your brain, hey, you need to, and whatever it is. So like if it's peppermint or wild orange, hey, you need to perk up. We need a little bit more energy. Or if it's lavender, oh, we're going to calm down now. Vetiver, same thing. Depending on what oil you're using, the body actually knows what to do with that compound, right? This is how essential oils work. So I'm going to do like a basic like biology 101. If you're like a medical professional or a scientist or anything like that, please forgive my, 10th grade biology class. Mr. Schiavo will be proud of me, but I doubt you guys will. But your cells in your body, right? Every cell has an oily membrane around the outside, right? What happens is when we take modern medicine, and please let me be clear, I believe in modern medicine. If something is not right, take me to your doctor, take me to emergency room, urgent care, whatever it is, please get me to a doctor. I believe in proactive healthcare, right? I use my oils to support my body so I don't have to rush to an emergency so often. I don't have to spend hours waiting in the doctor's office because, I have a cough. I do things to support my body. So my body is always functioning at higher levels to combat those things. So back to my bio 101, each cell has an oily membrane. Modern medicine tends to be water-based, right? Water and oil don't mix. If it's something bacterial is on the outside of the cell, that is going to be something that modern medicine can take care of. If it's something viral, that's going to be on the inside of the cell. Can't get in there, right? So when you have a virus, what does the doctor tell you? Oh, go rest, have some juice, get your fluids in, relax, right? Bacterial, it's usually, here's a Z-Pack, go, you'll feel better, right? With essential oils, because they're oily, oil, duh, right? They can actually penetrate the cell membrane and help support the cell from not only the outside, but also the inside. So for me, like right now, it's, winter, not getting as much vitamin D, not getting outside as much. Everyone's inside, coughing, sneezing, doing whatever. I support my body by using my oils. I use an oil called On Guard, take a drop of it in my water, and I take my vitamins in the morning. It's going to support those cells from the inside. So when I'm exposed to that, I have a little extra protection supporting my body. So maybe I just get, a little sneeze as opposed to a full-blown cold.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And have you found, cause I'm sure you've come across, cause you've probably talked to people who are like, listen, I don't want to hear it. Naysayers that are like, oh, that's just, hocus pocus or whatever. And now I'm sounding like I'm from the 50s. That's hocus pocus. Now I'm just like,
no, it totally is.
Because you're like holistic and people don't really want to necessarily hear that, but I mean, you use it yourself. So in addition to what I'm sure you're trained with, you can also say, hey, I have found. So have you found it has worked for you, obviously?
Yeah. So that's how I got started. I have a very stressful job, and I was just like, you know what? I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to have a mental breakdown. And my friend's like, you know what? Try this oil balance. It's a blend. And I took a whiff of it, and I'm like, this isn't going to help. But I'm like, all right, put on my wrist, do my breathing. And I actually felt better. And she's like, listen, she goes, just take a couple drops of it. Just, she gave me a little dram, right? Just take it to work with you, see what happens. Every time I started to feel that anxious feeling, I grabbed the bottle. It actually started helping me feel better. And I'm like, all right, maybe there's something to this. Maybe there's something to this. So I started with a bottle of Balance and a $35 membership to Doterra. And it's the biggest mistake I've ever made. Because when you start with Doterra, you should actually buy a big kit because you get all the stuff and you get a really good deal. But I always say, I'm like, it's the biggest mistake I made was paying $35 for a bottle, But I became a member, and I started trying to, I'm like, oh, well, they got this lemon and orange, and I could put it in my water. And I will tell you, Doterra essential oils can be taken internally. Again, with all that testing that's done, they are marked safe. If, any oil that can be taken internally, and I'm going to show it again. People on the podcast, go look at the YouTube. There is a supplemental facts on all bottles that can be taken internally. So I actually have spearmint in my water right now because it's the oil of clear communication. So hopefully I'm coming across clear for everybody.
Very cool. I did not know that. Okay.
Yes. Essential oils also have emotional benefits as well. So that's a little fun fact for you there. But with, I started like playing around. I'm like, oh, well, I'll try this. Oh, I'll try this, a couple of bottles here and there. Next thing you know, I got a whole, closet upstairs full of oils and the things that you start to learn as you're starting to use this, like, I am the farthest person from hippy dippy, but like, I noticed like, hey, when I use certain cleaners, I have a hard time breathing. Now I clean with my essential oils. I notice that my skin is looking a little bit better because, I'm using more natural products on my skin, and your skin is your biggest organ. It's what absorbs the most. So the more you can support your skin, the better off you're going to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, my family thought I was like off the deep end. And I got to tell you that my two biggest naysayers are actually my two biggest supporters now. My mom and my stepdad. My stepdad had to have back surgery. He had a spinal stenosis, and he had to have the pressure taken off the spine. And up until that point, he was just so uncomfortable, and he was like hunched over. And he's a very athletic person. He used to run, and he was a police officer. He was a paratrooper, and he was just miserable. And my mom's like, okay, do you have any oils? Like you always have the answer. Wait, where are these magic oils of yours? And I gave him the Deep Blue Rub, which I sent to you, that little, lotion. And he put it on his back, and he's like, it was the only thing that would give him relief until he had his surgery.
Wow.
And he's like, you know what, Christine, you might be right. Now him and my mom has bad knees. She has arthritis in her knees, and she uses oils. She uses her vitamin supplements from Doterra, and she lost. My sister got married in 2019, and in January she went to try on dresses, and she was like, Christine, she's like, I'm going to be a big fat mother of the bride. I don't want to look like this for Karen's wedding. And she was so upset. And I said, will you listen to me? Will you try this? Let's use the oils. Let's see if they can help. My mom started using oils. She started feeling better. She started getting out and walking. She started doing more exercises because her knees were feeling better. She lost 37 pounds and looked phenomenal at my sister's wedding. Like,
good
gorgeous.
for her. You know what? I love what you just said there, because again, for people who might be skeptical, excuse me, or whatever, you're saying, okay, she made her knee feel better. And so she got out walking, right? So it's not like she did the oil and boom, she lost the weight. No, you still have to, obviously, no matter what, you have to invest in yourself. She got out and she started walking, and now she was able to lose weight and everything. So it's lovely that things work together, right?
Exactly. And that's the whole thing, especially, this time of year. What happens? I'm going to tell you exactly what happens to like pretty much 98% of the population, right? January 1st is going to come around, and you know what? It's going to be a little wonky this year because January 1st is on Saturday, and everyone's going to be, oh, no, I'll wait till Monday. But Monday, I don't know about you, I'm off from work on Monday. So people are really going to start on Tuesday, and no one really starts a habit on Tuesday. It's just what it is. So, but what usually happens is, you get that, oh, it's first of the year, I'm going to start eating healthy. I'm going to start doing this. I'm going to start doing that. I always used to say I would take a break from the gym. First 2 weeks of January, I'm not going. I go Martin Luther King Day, because by then, right, what happens? It's that
Less
Monday
crowd.
Again. That Monday, you're usually off from work or school or whatever, and you're like, oh, you know what? I'm going to take the day off. You don't start that habit on Tuesday again. And all of a sudden, all those gym rats gone.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
The thing about making a change in the habit, you gotta start it up here in your mind, right? You gotta believe it up there. You gotta become the person you want to be, right? I want to get back to running. I've been saying it since April when I found your post, right? I used to run all the time. I loved running. I felt good running. I lost a lot of weight running. It brought me joy. I've run a marathon, right? One and done. I won't do a marathon again, but I do half maybe. I felt good. I got outside. I got some sunshine. You feel like your body, like, oh my God, my body can do stuff. Like, holy crap. But like, it's like, when you sit at a desk all day, it's like, oh, I like, it's that joy, that episode of Friends where Phoebe's running through Central
Park. Oh my gosh.
Like a crazy person.
I would love to do a marathon running like that. That would be so much fun.
I mean, that's
or 5K.
Exactly. Like it brings joy back into your day.
Yeah.
Right. But I got to be up here to do it. I got to be in my mind. I want to become that person, that version of me again. What does that version of me do? That version of me gets her ass out of bed every morning and goes, at least walks around the block. That version of me makes sure I'm drinking enough water so I don't dehydrate on my run. That version of me isn't sitting watching The Office after work. She's going outside and, she's making sure she's got her sneakers on, and, she's putting her workout clothes next to the bed. So as soon as she gets up, she puts them on and gets out the door. Right now, that version of me is still unpacking the sneakers, but
the intention is there though, right?
The intention, right? My mom jokes around, she laughs at me because, I say, I'm like, well, I don't have to worry because I'm going to be a comfortable size 8. Right. I'm not a size 8, but eventually one day I will be, because I keep putting them out. And when I go into my kitchen at night and I'm like looking for a snack, I'm like, you know what? Comfortable size 8 Christine doesn't eat cookies at 8:00 at night. She gets an extra glass of water, or, maybe if she really needs something, I'll have like a green drink or something. Those are the things. That's where your headspace has to be.
Yeah. And I love that, because I talk to myself all the time, but it is important to tell yourself, like because before you reach for that cookie, you're telling yourself, nope, that's not. And I do that with negative, like, negative thoughts. Cause it's like, I'm promoting laughter and all this stuff. And people are like, oh, you must always be laughing. Like, yeah, right. No, I'm a human being. So I will do the self-talk The minute I get in my car, I'm probably in 3 minutes and it's like, oh, look at this guy, no turn signal. And I start and I will literally talk out loud to myself and I'll say, oh, no, Janine, nope, 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 nope. Not going down the rabbit hole. It's not important. Now, granted, a block or two later, I might start all over again. But I think it's important that we communicate with ourselves. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, we need to. We're our most important vessel, right?
Exactly. The things that you say to yourself are the things in your mind are the things that go through your day. You know, if you start your day thinking, oh, today's gonna be horrible, and you like go downstairs, you have your coffee, and it's like, oh, today's gonna be horrible. And then like, yeah, it's gonna be horrible. But if you start the day with the best intention, you know what? Today's gonna be a great day. It's gonna be fantastic. I'm gonna get so much done. You're setting that energy to bring that vibration back to you. The fake it till you make it, it's true. You know, just be like, all right, I feel good, I feel great, I feel wonderful. Do your little what about Bob, you know? And it totally is going to get that vibe. And you're going to be like, you know what? Okay, today's going to be a good day. Yeah. There's something good in every day.
Yes.
Right? That's the long and short of it. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I know for me, like when I get the negative thoughts, I'm like, all right, you know what? I need a break. I'll grab an oil. When you bring that scent into your limbic system again, like you're resetting. You know what? I like, if I have a bad meeting, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna walk away from my desk, go in the other room. I'm like, you know what? Let's use an oil, you know, something that's, you know, gonna break that funk. I love wild orange. Wild orange is one of my favorites, uplifting, you know, citrus is always a happy smell. It's like a little smile in a bottle. So I'll grab that and just break the pattern, you know, and that's the thing. We get into these patterns, these comfort zones, and we have to recreate that comfort zone. We have to make that comfort zone be something that's more of a positive habit, as opposed to, you know, getting into the negative and the down and the, oh, you know, no one loves me. No, people love you. People want to be around you. People like, you want to support you. Sometimes you have to ask for it, you know, if you're not communicating it, but, you know, grab a friend. Hey, you know what? I've had a crappy day. Do you want to go for a walk with me? Or do you want to, and I know, you know, right now with, I don't know what we're supposed to be doing these days, not supposed to be talking to each other, wearing masks, staying 6 feet, not staying 6 feet, being out of the house for 5 days, as 10 days, whatever the rule is, keep your mental health in check. If you need to have human contact, go see a friend, right? Be cautious, but, you know, go see your family, go be with the people who you need support from, because that, I think, is one of the things that's really, really hurting us right now, is that we don't have that connection, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, I think everybody is probably, you know, everyone's probably different. I mean, you watch the news and it's like what you should be doing or whatever. But I mean, reality is, I'll be honest, like I saw I live next door to my parents. I see them all the time. You know, my brother was in for the holidays. I went out and did some shopping. I mean, yeah, some of it was online. A lot of it was in the stores. I went to grocery stores. People are out and about. And again, I mean, I'm not saying don't be safe. Everyone needs to do their own comfort level, wear a mask, wear two if it makes you feel comfortable. But I think sometimes too, this idea, oh, we can't go out. Yeah, that's why Walmart and Target are full. Like, I mean, again, we just need to be smart about what we're doing and what's comfortable. Like you said, some people may not feel comfortable, so they don't go out. But like going outside, go for the walk and maybe stand a little bit apart from your friend, a little distance outside. You've got the fresh air, just, you know, do you, but also, like you said, because mental health is important too. And cutting yourself off from people gets really, it gets really unhealthy.
For sure. As someone who works from home as well, yes, it's being away from people is a challenge, but you have to find ways to connect, even if it's just, you know, a text to a friend. Hey, you know, I was thinking about you. I hope you're having a great day. You know, think about what you would love to receive and give that back to the world, because that's going to, again, be something that's going to create connection, and someone will be like, oh, Christine thought of me. How nice. Let me check in on her. You know, you got to put out what you want to get back to.
Absolutely. I agree 100%, because Even like a text out of the blue means so much. One of my friends, actually, she tested positive for COVID before the holidays. So, I texted her a couple days later. I texted her on Christmas Day to see how she was doing. And it's like, she's doing good. Thankfully, she had been boosted and all that stuff. So she didn't really get that sick, but she still had a quarantine to keep everybody safe. So, I mean, that's got to stink. You feel like you're bummed and all that stuff. But a text or a FaceTime or, a Zoom or whatever, you still get to see the person's face. So there are ways to keep connected. And I think, like you said, that is so important that we do that. You also have, I believe, some tips for us. And I want you to be able to, if you want people to reach out to learn more from you, if there's a website, but also I want to hear your tips first and then give a shout out to whatever you want to give a shout out to as well.
So my healthy tips. So there's usually like, when people come in like, Christine, I need help, there's usually like a few main areas that people want support in. So I always tell people, no matter what, you want to have a good multivitamin and a good probiotic. Okay. Doterra we have a lifelong vitality pack. I use it every day. It's great. It covers my multivitamins. It gives me my omega-3s, and it also has some cellular support, which is kind of awesome. I also have a probiotic. Always take my probiotics because you want to make sure that your gut really is your second brain. Everyone says, oh, I got gut instinct. That's why, because your gut knows what's going on with your body. Probiotic and digestive enzymes are also really important. I don't know if you know this, but your digestive enzymes actually have a limit. There's only so much that they can do. And then when they start to deplete, your body will take enzymes from other functions of your body to keep processing. American diet, so much of our food is processed. We have to take a lot of energy to break down those things, right? So if you have a digestive enzyme that you're taking with your meals, it's going to help you so much more. Digestive enzymes are also going to help clear your bowels, not to get too gross, but the human body can hold up to 20 pounds of fecal matter in your intestines. You want to get that out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a thought in my head. I won't repeat it when people say you're full of something, but yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You want to get that out, and healthy gut health, like your gut health is definitely something, between the probiotics and the digestive enzymes, that's going to really help support the body. Okay. Make sure that your multivitamins, anything that you're taking as far as vitamins. And again, I worked at the vitamin shop for a few years in college. I don't know how I know all this stuff, but I do. It's like a vat of useless information, but hopefully someone will get use out of it. You want to find something that's bioavailable, meaning that your body is actually going to absorb the vitamins and nutrients. A lot of it, like, no offense to the good people at Centrum, but Centrum is just a bunch of filler. That's why you get that bright neon green pea when you take it, because your body's just passing everything through. It's not able to break it down. So you want something that's a vitamin that's more natural. So that's my soapbox on health right there. Multivitamin. You could eat, a perfectly balanced meal of like brown rice, chicken, and broccoli, and you're never going to get the nutrients that you need because our soil is depleted, and we're farming like crazy. Like, we're just, if you look at an apple from like 1955 versus an apple from today, the nutrient density of the 55 apple is so much more than our current. So it's sad but true. So that's why you really want to supplement. Any green drinks or anything like that, they are going to help it. Some of them taste like dirt. I got a good one, but but you definitely want to try to get that fill in those building blocks. You got to think of your body kind of like Swiss cheese, and the supplements are filling in those holes.
Okay. So, that's a great way to look at it. Yeah.
Yeah. So supplementation, number 1. 2, good night's sleep. Okay. Try to cut your caffeine, keep that caffeine, in the morning hours, like nothing really after 3 p.m.
I'm in trouble. Shame on me.
I know. Where's your mug? Where's your,
I drink sometimes at 8:00 at night. Oh my gosh.
If it's morning, it's coffee in here, right? That's your mug.
That's right.
So, but try to keep the caffeine, earlier in the day. Also, make your bedroom somewhere you want to sleep. make sure that it's, dark in there. Make sure it's cozy. Don't have a lot of lights. Don't fall asleep with the TV. All right. That's like, don't watch the news before you go to bed. Those things are going to keep your mind moving. And it's like, oh, have the wind down time. Oh my God, why can't I talk?
She has not been drinking wine, by the way. She's only drinking water.
I want to say wine. But like wind yourself down. I have like a bedtime alarm on my phone, and it actually helps. It's like, oh, okay, I'm going to go to bed in like a half hour. Okay, I should probably like, calm down. Maybe like, make sure I take my evening vitamins. I take vitamins in the morning and the evening.
Okay. I was just going to ask, do you have like a ritual that you do kind of every night?
I do. Okay. I take my vitamins before bed. I take some copaiba. Copaiba is another oil, but I take it.
So say what now? No.
It's called copaiba. It is a oil from Brazil. It helps with it actually helps with a lot of things. It supports like, oh my God, so many functions in the body. It's digestion, cardiovascular system, nervous system. But I use it because I find that in the evenings, before bed, my mind tends to race. So the copaiba helps kind of calm it down a bit.
Okay.
And so I take copaiba before I go to bed. I go to bed. I have bad teeth. I have a periodontal disease, so I had to have all my gums flushed. It was terrible. They don't recommend it, but they're good if I have to make sure I brush my teeth. I do all my teeth cleaning, and then put on my jammies, and I put my diffuser on. I have a diffuser, bedside diffuser. I have Serenity in there. I have lavender in there. Vetiver and wild orange is another combo. I put oils on the bottoms of my feet before I go to bed because that actually helps too. Putting oils on the bottoms of the feet. So the reason you put them on the bottoms of your feet, people are like, why would you put them on the bottoms of your feet? That's like super weird. The pores on the bottoms of the feet are different than the rest of the body because your palms and your bottoms of your feet don't have hair, right? They're so it absorbs quicker, so it goes into the system faster.
Okay.
So plus reflexology, you can actually
meridian points or
yep, you can rub your feet and put the oils in the areas where you want the support. So like my mind races a lot at night. I put oils on my big toe. It helps calm down.
That's cool.
So
good question for you. What if your feet like mine are completely calloused? Like you can't even feel? Will they still get through?
They will still get through. I promise they will still get through. Yes. I totally relate to that. Yes.
It's a mess.
Yeah. So sleep is a big one. Mind and mood, again, that kind of goes hand in hand with sleep. I use a lot of oils, again, like I have my diffuser sitting right here next to me to focus. I use an oil called Adaptive, which it literally helps you adapt to your environment. It really kind of calms the mind. It's our calming blend. It's, when I have a meeting or I feel like the anxiety starting to build up, I just roll it on the back of my neck, my temples, and it kind of helps me calm down and relax. And again, being home, not interacting with people, missing people, I try to do a lot of citruses. They're more uplifting and they kind of give you that happy vibe. So, the thing about essential oils that people freak out about is that there's so much to know. You don't have to know it all, right? You got your, couple tried and true that you like to go with, you're good, right? Whatever works for you, whatever makes you happy is going to.
Uh-oh. We lost you for a second, Christine. Christine has frozen. Uh-oh. Hopefully she will come back. Christine. There you froze.
I told you it's the Wi-Fi here in Albany. It's terrible.
You were good for so long though. We made it this far. We're almost through.
It was a good streak. I don't know where I stopped, but
I'm sorry. You were kind of cut out there when you were explaining, I know you said if you like a couple oils, you do you and go with those. You don't need to know all.
Yeah, that's the thing with oils. Like you don't have to know all of them. And usually, and like I said, if you buy oils from Doterra or somebody like myself who, this is what we do. We will educate you if you're like, hey, I have this issue. Okay, great. Let's talk about it here. And that's what I do for people. I actually will sit down and be like, okay, Jean, you run a lot. You're always on the go. What oils do you need to support you? Like, I'm going to send you some stuff to help you with your muscles, and I'm going to, help you to keep focused. And, I even got oils for hangovers,
And you know what I will say to everyone listening, and I should have been prepared, but this is going to allow us to extend this a little more. Christine was nice enough to send me this, and I love getting mail. I was super excited. I'm like, a package, and I didn't even order this. Christine sent a nice little sample packet of some oils and things to try, and I've smelled them, but I haven't actually used them yet. And I will do a little bit on my YouTube channel, Uncorked with Funny Wine Girl, and I will show everybody the different things that you sent me and talk about. I'll just describe what's written there, and I'll smell a couple. So that will be something we'll do in another short video. But I just wanted to say thank you. Christine was so kind to send those. I was like, oh, I love this stuff. This is great.
Well, I had to make sure that you knew, like, what we're going to talk about. So
yeah. And like I said, I have my again, you talk about do what you like. I love lavender. I actually have the plant in my backyard. So I will go out and literally put my fingers over the plant and then smell my fingers. I mean, that sounds like a Mary Catherine Gallagher. And then I smell my fingers.
Smell like that.
But it's nicer than my armpit. No, I love to do that. The lavender. I will say I have tried eucalyptus also and peppermint. And I love that the little lift, that I get from the peppermint. And beyond that, I haven't tried a lot. But I mean, I've a little bit of knowledge, but certainly nothing that I need to know a lot more. So
yeah.
So before we close, I want to make sure you got to tell the rest of your tips, because I don't want you to freeze up again there.
Yeah. So, well, you know what I'll do? I will just, I'll do my 5 tips for all your listeners. I'll have them go to my website. We'll do our URL. So it's christinesouza.com, and we'll do /uncorked, and everyone can go there, and I'll send you all your like my 5 tips on, the healthy habits for 2022.
Excellent. Well, and I'll have you, if you don't mind, once you have that up there and you send it to me, I'll include the link to your site when I post the podcast. So anyone listening, you'll see there's always a little description of my episode, and I like to include links to people's websites, my guests. I'll include that in there. And for those of you obviously who are watching on YouTube, if I can figure it out, because it shouldn't be that difficult, I'll put it on the bottom of the episode. I'll add that in there, but we will get it to you. Look at Instagram. Christine Souza is on Instagram. Funny Wine Girl, Janine, I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook, and I love to promote my guests. So I will be promoting this early January. So we'll make sure that you get information. If you want to reach out to Christine, you want to learn more about these oils and get the rest of Christine's tips before she freezes again. Cause I was like, no, I was afraid you weren't coming back. It was, it's so funny that it was probably a solid 5 seconds, but you know what that's like in Zoom world.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. It's forever.
It's like, where did she go?
Yeah, she's gone. It's over. But it was so good for so long. Well, in closing, anything you want to say in closing, or does that cover it?
No, I'm so grateful to you to letting me come on and ramble about all my, health and wellness passions. And I mean, I can talk for hours, but I won't do that to your listeners.
I could too. I hear you.
Yeah, no, this is really great. And hopefully, please feel free to reach out to me, because obviously you can tell I love to talk about this stuff. So if there's anyone I can help, I'd love to be of service. So
excellent. Very great. And I want to say something, because I'm all about empowering women. And this is something, what you just said, and I do it all the time. You didn't ramble, by the way. You were sharing valuable information. So we have to stop devaluing or undervaluing ourselves, because you were giving us great information. So you weren't rambling at all. You were sharing, and you were sharing your great personality with us. So, because I do that too. I also, excuse me. 2022, I'm going to stop damn apologizing for stuff. So,
yes.
That's it. So don't even get me started on that one. But no, you shared great stuff with us that I am very grateful that you could join us. And I'm so grateful that you saw my post on Instagram and that we've connected that way. It's been great. So thank you so much, Christine Souza. And like I said, I will have that information, christinesouza.com/uncorked. Check out all the information and get to know, reach out to Christine if you want to know more. There's a lot to learn, but you don't need to be overwhelmed because she'll help you through it. So thank you so much for listening to this episode of Uncorked with Funny Wine Girl. I am Funny Wine Girl Janine, and I hope you'll come back. In the meantime, uncork something fabulous and keep a positive mindset as best you can. If you're feeling bad, it's okay to feel bad too, but reach out to somebody because people will always want to help you, even if it's a stranger. Just look for the positive because it's there and we're there for you. So thank you so much for listening.